Hi everyone, my name is Corey, also known as GRC Corey, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how I would get back into cybersecurity if I had to do it all over again with no experience. I get asked this question a lot, so I just thought I would make a video. Now, this video is going to be a two-part series where I'll be breaking down a step-by-step guide depending on which route I would take. The first route being that if I decided to go into a four-year college degree, the steps I would take and what I would do then, versus just going right into the workforce and the steps I would take there. There's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. Now, before I get started, I'm going to be discussing, so the paths that I'll be taking, they're going to be geared more towards GRC because that's what I'm in. I'm in GRC. So, of course, the information is going to be geared more biasly towards that, but also the information is going to be pretty generalized. As much as possible at least, so it can be used if you want to go into SOC or pen testing or anything of that sort. So step one is choosing a college degree and a college to attend. Okay, so if I had to start over and I was going the college route, those are the two things I would do, starting with choosing a college. You hear a lot of times that education doesn't really matter that much, experience is king, but getting a college degree and getting an education is experience. And a lot of times it's voided because it's college and there's recently been a negative light cast on an education and college. But I still find and I still hold the belief that it is very useful and it can take you very far, even in or outside of cybersecurity. For picking a college, you don't really need a name brand, however. I never subscribed under that belief that you needed to go to Harvard or you need to go to USC or a name brand college. Just because it's name brand doesn't mean it gives you the best bang for your buck. So how I would try to approach it would be exactly that: get the best bang for my buck. And that would be attending originally. I'll be attending a community college, then working my way into a state four-year college where I get to minimize the amount of finances and spending on the college degree, but I get to maximize my education. Remember, it is up to you to get the education. Just getting a degree and foregoing your education, that's going to do you no good. So if you're not committed to actually getting the education and reading the books and the material, then just getting an education, like just getting the paper degree, is going to do you no good. Now, next is picking the degree. And for me, there would be two paths in my mind that I would choose. And the two paths are either IT or CS. And here's why. Both provide a foundational knowledge of computers and data and how they function and how it flows. You can't defend something that you don't understand how it works. And you certainly cannot defend something if you don't know how data flows. If the flow of data is really crucial because every step of the way you have to safeguard it. And if you don't know how it works, how can you possibly defend it? Now, if I wanted to continue to the GRC path, I would have picked IT and got a specialization in cybersecurity. IT is a bit more generalized than CS, where you get to learn the OSI layer, how data function, how it flows, and networking, where CS doesn't really provide as much of that, where CS is more coding based. That's why I would pick IT. It gives me a more wider foundational knowledge within the IT tech world, and the specialization, of course, in cybersecurity, so it can help me defend networks and the data. Now, if I wanted to go into SOC or if I wanted to go into specifically pen testing, I would then go into CS and learn the building blocks of code and how it functions and get a specialization in cybersecurity. Because if you know how code operates, how it functions, and you have a deep understanding of it, you can then figure out a way to attack it and approach it and look for vulnerabilities. Step two, after I picked out the school and the degree that I want, I would then look for a work program that's in IT. Schools also have IT departments, and I'm sure there's definitely some student work programs where you can get those building block foundational knowledge, work experience in IT. So I would look for jobs like that. And if I couldn't find one, I would join a group then. I would join a group at my school that is specific to cybersecurity or IT. And I would then start making connections with the professors. And if they still don't have a position, the cool thing is they can make one for you. If they like you enough, they can make one for you, where you can study under them and also get the experience that you are looking for. Joining the group also helps build your networking and your connections. That will be greatly used later on as, you guys do eventually graduate and the people then go on to get jobs. And if you stay in contact, these are great networking opportunities here where maybe someday you need a job or you get laid off and you have a connection with someone that was in that group that is at a different agency or at a different company. So joining a group can be very beneficial in building a network and getting that first job. Not only is it beneficial to getting that first job, but in joining a group, you can also have the time to actually start doing projects. Start doing projects that build out your resume. I highly recommend doing the project that I laid out in a separate video that I'll list down below. But yeah, start doing a project, and you can start today and it would look really good on your resume. Step 3, in the meantime, while I'm doing all this and I'm getting my degree, what I would be doing next is getting a certification. Now, there's a couple of certifications that you can get. They're very entry level. Like for example, if I had to start over again, I would get the Security Plus, the CC, or the SSCP. I'd get one of those 3 certifications. And there are many other certifications out there that are entry level that are tied to cybersecurity that would greatly benefit you. And now that I'm nearing the end of my 4-year education, I would then start tailoring my resume with all the experience I have of my degree, joining the groups or joining that work study program of IT, and really laying out the foundation of my resume so it looks good to recruiters and really making it shine. Now, going back, if I had to start all over again, knowing what I know now, this is what I would do to actually increase my chances of getting hired and getting that first job. After I tailored my resume out, I would then start applying to these positions, okay? That's the first thing I would do. I would then, after that, once I apply to these positions, I would, for example, I would go on LinkedIn and I'll apply to a position, and then I'll look up that position and the people involved, find the hiring manager, and reach out to the hiring manager. Skip that line. That's what I did, and you cannot believe how many times it actually worked. It worked, and quite a bit, actually. What I did was I reached out and I said, "Hello, my name is Corey. I just saw the position that was recently posted and I applied. I'm hoping to learn a little bit more about the role and what is required. It's great to make a connection, and I hope to hear from you soon." Once I sent off that request with the message, I heard back quite a bit, and I can name 4 off the top of my mind that it worked with. 4 very large companies too. I'm not going to name the companies, but 4 companies reached out and they said, "Hi, Corey. It's glad to make a connection." And then I got interviews out of those responses. I got interviews out of those responses, and I got pretty dang far too. And for the interviews that didn't work out or they hired someone else, the hiring manager would say, "Hey, I'm sorry that it didn't work out, but I do know so-and-so that is hiring. Let me make a connection for you and reach out to them." Now, I cannot express enough how vital it is for networking to get your first job in cybersecurity. We are social creatures. We are meant to help each other and to communicate and to lift each other up. And so lastly, that's just what I would do. I would just repeat the last bit of advice for myself if I had to do it all over again, and rinse, wash, and repeat. And tailor the resume, make the adjustments, put out the feelers, and reach out to the hiring manager and see if I get a response, and keep doing that until I get my job. So yeah, that I think that is a pretty good approach if I had to do it all over again. Of course, there will always be someone that disagrees with me on that, but again, this is just how I would do it and how I would approach it if I had to go back and do it all over again. I will leave some resources and links down below, like a resume template for a cybersecurity resume, and as well as a link to the project that I built out that you can do today to get started. As always, coffee up, and I'll see you in the next video. If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is